Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
We're back, folks. This is the More Money Show. Thank you so much for listening, having fun on this great Memorial Day weekend. A little chilly out, but I want to make sure everybody gets fresh air and sunshine and get out and get some exercise today. You might have to wear a little jacket, depending on where you are. I live in the D.C. area. It's chilly. It's in the mid-60s, but beautiful sunshine and blue skies. Love it. I prefer this than when it's in the 90s. I guarantee you that. So a few things I wanted to mention before I get to my guest, Dick Patten. I wanted to tell you that one of the good things that happened this week, this is a pretty good week for America. One of the good things that happened was that we, this ban on buying gas cars, this requirement that they wanted to pass, the green, groups wanted to pass to make everybody buy an electric car, an electric vehicle. That got voted down. And so now you're going to have what I call auto choice. You can buy whatever car you want, and damn it, this is America. In America, people should be able to buy whatever car they want, not the cars that politicians want you to drive. In my little neighborhood, my little village, we have a cool little custom. The first Sunday of every month, the first Sunday morning, everybody drives these old classic cars into the village, and they park them, and you get to see all these incredibly cool race cars and the old, Ford models, and it's just really fun. And you get to see hundreds of these cars, and Americans have a love affair with their cars. And I don't know, I object when the government says you have to buy this car or that car. There's an old saying about Henry Ford when he first invented the Model T and was rolling those Model Ts off of the assembly lines. And he was, he said, here's the new, that was the first car, right? The first mass produced car. And he said, this is the Model T, and you can have it in any color you want as long as it's black. Well, today you can buy any car you want in any color you want, and you shouldn't, the government shouldn't tell you what to buy. Incidentally, I don't have any problem with electric vehicles. I think Teslas are wonderful vehicles. My wife she just got a used Porsche that is a hybrid. She loves it. We love it. It's great. It's a fantastic car. We like the fact that we can use the battery. We're driving around town. We like the fact that when we go on long trips, we have the gas so that we're not going to run out of energy in the middle of the mountains or something like that. And so all I'm saying is let people buy whatever car they want. And sorry, Joe Biden, and sorry, Democrats in the Senate. Now everybody can buy their own car. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for freedom. It's a good thing for our country. We will be taking your calls in about 10 or 15 minutes. 1-800-848-9222 is the More Money hotline. And we will be talking about, if you want to call in about the tax bill, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the Big Beautiful. But also we're celebrating the Memorial Day weekend to talk about, people or whether it's a son or a daughter or a parent or an uncle or an aunt or someone who's really paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country, because those are the heroes of our country and we should never, never forget. But speaking of people dying, my friend Dick Patten is on the line, and Dick Patten is been a friend of mine for, 20 years or so. And he is the most knowledgeable person I know about the most disgusting, outrageous, un-American tax that we have. And it's called the death tax. And this is the tax that is you pay, an heir pays when they die, and the money is taken right out of their estate. So you've got a situation where someone, built up a business their whole life, as my father did, puts in the sweat equity in that business day after day after day for 40, sometimes 50 years, and then they die and the government takes half of it away from you. I'm sorry. I think that's outrageous. You should be able to leave this to your kids or to whoever you want. The government shouldn't take half of it away. Dick Patten, thanks so much for joining. What do you think? Am I right about this?
You're absolutely right. I think my bottom line is no taxation without respiration.
Yeah. So tell people about you. By the way, the organ. You've been truly a hero to me for running this organization that really is the one group in Washington and around the country that lobbies to get rid of the death tax. Tell us about your group?
Yeah, we are the Family Business Coalition in terms of our coalition, and we're the American Business Defense Foundation in terms of the work that we do.
Yep. And so this, I love the fact that you call this family businesses, because folks, when they tax these great inheritances, I guarantee you people like Elon Musk and people like Warren Buffett, they're not going to pay any estate tax. They've got accountants, they got lawyers, they got tax experts who are going to find ways about that. I guarantee you, the billionaires are not going to pay the estate tax. They just don't. They have the expertise to get around it. But it's this family businesses, isn't it, Dick, that the ones that really get stuck paying this tax, and oftentimes they have to sell the business to pay the tax.
Absolutely. Every time the family goes through a round of the death tax, let's say dad dies or grandpa dies, the family business becomes less. It's a tax against their capital. They become a smaller business. They can hire fewer people. By the way, family businesses, farms, and ranches in our nation provide 49.1 million jobs in America. And when a family business goes through the death tax,
how many jobs?
49.1 million jobs.
50 million jobs are created by family businesses. That's a uniquely American phenomenon, isn't it?
No, it truly is. It truly is. I mean, it's really the core of the American dream, but it's also the core of American prosperity and the most inventive and productive sector of our entire economy. And the death tax works at diminishing that rather than helping it.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
Yeah. So great point. And I love the work you guys do. You do some great research too. And you sent me a chart not long ago that I found amazing, which is, the death tax has been as high. I think, didn't it go to 70% at one point or 60%, something like that?
It was for several decades, it was actually at a high rate of 77% of a family's
Now think about the stupidity of that, folks. A 77% tax rate on death. That means that, if you've got a family business, the government's going to take 70. Let's say you have 1,000 acres. The government's going to take 970 of the acres away from you and your kids and the family, and that is outrageous that you'd ever have a death tax that high. But my belief is that the right amount of death tax is zero, or at least it'd be very, very low. Right now it's 40%, and yet it's still, if correct me if I'm wrong about this, Dick, it's from the fiscal point of view, it's inconsequential. It raised only 1% of revenue. So
actually,
why don't we just get rid of the damn thing?
Yeah. To put more of a point to it, it's 1% of federal revenue. And yet, it's so destructive.
Trivial. Yeah. But it does so much damage. So here's the thing, Dick, and again, I'm just reciting stuff that you've taught me, but it makes common sense, and people out listening to the show, you probably know people that this would apply to. If you've got a family business and you, let's say you're 80 years old or 85 years old, you're getting up there, and maybe you have 8 or 10 years left to live, why would you continue to invest in the business if they're going to take it away from your family?
Well, and that's exactly right. And so businesses stop growing, and who loses? The 49.1 million Americans who work for American family businesses and ranches and farms, and those jobs get carved away. That's the real loss. But, Steve, really, you look at this, we can talk about, the financial devastation, and it's real, and the destruction of jobs, and that's real. But what this really is in the actual core of this is property rights. And, the question is, do we really have property rights? Or are we merely tax-paying serfs that we pay taxes all of our lives, and when we die, our property goes to the Lord in the castle on the hill? I remember my very first death tax battle, and this is some years ago, is in Washington State. The guy who ran the Department of Inheritance and Gift Taxes, a guy named Clarence Borley, as we were debating, he came out, and here is one of his statements. He said, "Inheritance is not a natural right, but rather is a civil convenience granted by a benevolent government."
Oh, so the government, the government owns
really
everything.
We look at what is wrong in America. We are ruled by bureaucrats, and some of them are elected and some of them are not, who think, no, this isn't a natural right. We'll give you the privilege of keeping some of what you gather because we're a benevolent government. No, damn it, we're America, and we have rights. We have property rights that are granted to us by God.
Yep. And you build something and you own it, right? Remember when
right.
Barack Obama famously said, you didn't build that? Well, that was such an insult to small businessmen and women who do build great businesses and medium-sized businesses, small businesses. Sometimes those small businesses become big businesses. Well, they built it.
That's right. And it is. The government cannot take credit for that. We built that. By the way, one of the things, and Steve, you've been quoting me. I'm going to quote you. This economic study, very recently published, new evidence on the business effects of the estate tax. But one of the things that you and Pavel show is that for every $1 of death tax revenue that is collected, there's $5 of future losses, of tax losses that occur because of the collateral damage the death tax does to family businesses.
It's got to be the dumbest tax we have, folks. It really does. And I know people say, well, I don't want, the billionaire to pass on their money to their kids and da-da-da. A lot of people don't have a big appreciation for inherited wealth. But the point is that these businesses will never exist and they'll never grow if you can't pass it on from one generation to another. We're not just talking about businesses, right? We're talking about farms, ranches, things like that have been maybe in the family for 3 or 4 generations. And then you have situations, you've told me this, Dick, you have situations where people literally, not figuratively, literally have to sell the farm to pay the taxes.
No, that is absolutely correct. Or let's say grandpa dies, they have to decide, okay, how many sections of the farm, sections a mile by a mile, how many sections do we have to sell off to pay the death taxes this time. Let me give you another example. Kristi Noem. We all know who Kristi Noem is. You know, she's head of the Secretary of Homeland Security. Mm-hmm. She's former governor of the state of South Dakota. She is a former congressman from South Dakota. Mm-hmm. She used to be the chief champion in the House of Representatives for killing the death tax. And the reason is her own story. When she was 22 years old and on the farm, their family farm, her father fell into the grain bin and it sucked him down, and he literally died in a sea of grain. Oh. And so the federal government comes by to collect their death taxes. Kristi Noem had to drop out of college to take a job to help the family pay the death tax because her father died and literally drowned in a grain bin.
Oh. God, well, you know, those stories, you could probably tell 100 of those stories, Dick, and it's important for people to understand that this is a tax that really doesn't, as again, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, they're not going to pay. They've given up, all their money has gone into these big, massive billion-dollar foundations. It really hurts the businessmen and women who started from scratch, built up a business. Maybe it became a $5 or $10 or $20 million business or $30 million. And then it's just sad that the government just says, "Oh, this is mine. We're going to take it from you." Outrageous.
That's exactly right. I mean, another point really beyond that, you talked about the foundations, and it really is tax-exempt foundations, how many of the billionaires will, they will sell their business, they liquidate, they put it all in a tax-exempt foundation. But here's what happens. Not only do they dodge the death tax, they never pay a penny of taxes on all of that accumulated wealth for the rest of their lives. And so once again, the death tax is chasing the wealth of America into a realm where, number one, it's not going to hire people, it is not going to be productive, and it's not going to pay taxes from this point forward forevermore.
So totally Dick, we only have 1 minute left. I appreciate your coming in on a Saturday afternoon and educating us on this. So tell us, first of all, how people can find out more about getting involved in this issue. And also, tell us about the status of the death tax, because there was death tax relief in the Trump tax cut. What's going to happen with the death tax this year? But first, how do people contact you guys?
Okay, the best way to contact us is our website, which is businessdefense.org. And on that, you will find the stories of families, the reality of what happened to them and their families in the death tax. You will see the current legislation in the House and the Senate, which, by the way, has an enormous number of co-sponsors. Really, all of the details of this, including current press articles on the death, is all there. And oh, by the way, if you want to contribute to helping to fund this cause, it does take financial investment. You'll have the opportunity to do that. So it's businessdefense.org.
And your group is in favor of complete elimination of the death tax.
Absolutely. My job is to
thank you,
the
Dick.
death tax.
Well, what you do is fantastic. I am so proud to work with you on this issue and proud of what you've done. You've been, the Paul Revere to warn people about how awful this tax is. And so keep it up, will you, my friend? And I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. We'll be right back, folks. We're going to take your calls. Call in if you want to talk about Memorial Day or you want to talk about the Trump tax cut. We'd love to hear from you, 1-800-848-9222. We'll take your calls when we come right back.
Talk Radio 77 WABC.